Bullshit!
Going out on safari, the best thing to do is get up really early in the morning before the sun rises. That's the best time to see the animals from the night before. We're going to move our camp later today, but before we do, we took one last safari drive in this area just to see what animals are around.
So the giraffe, we stopped because he's not even looking at us driving by. He is looking off into the distance very intently, and that could be a sign that he sees a predator. We just saw 3 herds of impala, and there's a 4th over in the distance. So one group at a time would run across the open plain, and the second group was like, wait, what's going on? Oh, fuck, run! So then they ran, they made it over to the other section. Can you imagine having to live your life constantly looking over your shoulder? Steve! That big, long face they have, they can actually sense where rain is and they follow it. The male wildebeest here is hanging out with this bachelor herd. They don't have a harem. They've got to fight for that and stick together and take care of each other until they're old enough to try to get their own herd, being able to mate with the females. So these guys are just a bunch of dicks hanging out by themselves. This zebra is a Burchell zebra, Southern Plains zebra, and you can see it has a shadow stripe. So if you look closely, there's a brown stripe in between the black ones, and that's very unique to the zebras in the south of Africa. Oh, he's taking a dump. Get it, get it. Oh, yeah.
Very big guy.
We've got some marabou stork. They're scavenger-y type storks. So you'll see them on kills as well as also around waterways. But they're fucking ugly. They're so ugly, they're cute.
We've spent a lot of time with the hippos in this camp. I am nostalgic and I do love them. So we decided to go say goodbye to our hippo neighbors before we move on.
Yeah, he's on his head. He's
like, I'm not going anywhere, man.
He's doing the pooping. You see how he scatters his poop with his tail?
I have a goal to take a picture of every safari animal in Africa taking a poop and then framing them all and putting them in my bathroom. I just want to fill up the whole wall with just animals pooping. I mean, it's hysterical when guests go in there and they sit down and it's just like a wall of animals taking a shit. It'll actually inspire you to like get things moving. It's like running water.
It's rare to see a hippo out of the water during the daytime. They prefer to be in the water holes. It's safer, less taxing on their knees from their body weight. They usually graze on the grasses at night, and so usually at dusk is when you see them coming out of the water. This guy, I don't know if we disturbed him by coming to his little water hole or if he knows of another water hole that he wants to go pop into, but the fucker's gone now.
We got to this spot where there's 2 pools on either side of the vehicle. We have one pool with about 20 hippos on one side, and we've got one hippo on the one side, which we assumed is a male that probably got pushed out by the large herd.
As long as he's subservient and not trying to mate with the females and not trying to bully his way to the top, then the alpha would leave him alone. But he just kept trying, obviously, and he's like, all right, you know what, enough of you. go to Loser's Pond, and so he's all by himself over here while his entire pod's on this side. He's been outcast. But the thing is like, if he didn't challenge the alpha, he could still be with everybody. So either he's got to get bigger and be able to fight this guy, or he's got to be humble, put his dick in the dirt, and accept the fact that he's a loser. And then he can come home. In the meantime, he's just over here being stubborn.
This hippo that's sitting by himself in the pond, he's not all alone. He sort of still finds his comfort and protection through the other hippos that's in the other pool. But then you get two vehicles and humans getting in between, and that's when the hippos start to feel uncomfortable.
It's definitely a challenge to stand there and photograph them, knowing full well that this is the #1 killer in Africa. A lot of people die from hippo charges.
No. I don't feel like dying today.
You shouldn't generally get close to hippos. You always avoid hippos. In the water or outside the water, always stay away from it.
We once again see vultures in the sky, and that lets us know that there's something going on. It's definitely something that the team and I love seeing because it really kicks in our spotting and tracking abilities.
There was a carcass of the hippo which had already been opened up. So the vultures were on a feeding frenzy.
There are hundreds of vultures here, and there are different types of vultures.
The African lappet-faced vulture is the king of the vulture. With his humongous and very sharp hooked bill, he's responsible for opening up the carcasses. He normally feeds on the organ meats. African white-backed vultures were the most numerous. They do what is called deboning. They feed on the largest chunks. Then you get now the hooded vultures, which are much more smaller. And those, they act like the firemen or the fire brigade. They go right inside the carcasses. Because they've got a very thin, long, decurved bills, they slit the ligaments and the tendons connecting the bones. So the carcass collapses.
We just use the vultures to find something going on. Well, guess what? Poachers use that same method. Vultures are some of the most persecuted animals in Africa because when you're poaching, you'll either poison carcasses or shoot vultures so that you have more time as a poacher to try to do your nasty deeds, and the authorities aren't alerted because the authorities are also looking at the vultures.
That's a horrible idea. What time?
It's usually not a good idea to swim in the water. There are dangerous animals like crocodiles, hippos, mambas. But luckily for us, on the outskirts of the Okavango Delta, there was a small channel of water that we were able to play in.
Water snake.
The unique thing about a safari on the Okavango is the opportunity to travel by boat and see the water habitat of aquatic animals. Our next camp is on an island deep in the delta.
Dumoulin! Delta, bitches.
You go.
Nice. Lovely.
We just settled into camp on the island, and now we're taking an evening cruise to say hello to our new hippo neighbors.
Hi.
Or can you link up with?
Hi.
One of the best things about being on the Delta is the fact that we have all of this water. Clean, 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 clean water that you and I could actually drink out of. And there's no civilization anywhere close by. Magnificent open skies and beautiful trees along the waterways. Seeing the sunset out on the water is so different than the other safaris that I've taken all over the continent of Africa. It's so unique.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
Keep your feet up and row.